John,
Good, thank you.
since technically you were captain of a starship for 12 minutes, did you try and make your case to get on the panel later?
They couldn't get me a ticket, I tried.
That's right, I didn't even realize that was him.
Man my way in there. I said to JJ, I said, put me in the movie. I haven't heard back from him, so. He said, you're dead, we can't do that.
All right, let's go over here.
Good afternoon. I'm reasonably sure that you've probably seen a bit of the script for Thor 2. Is there anything you can kind of even just vaguely hint at that we can expect that we haven't heard of yet?
I honestly haven't seen the script. I know that Alan Taylor is directing. I've had a few conversations with him. And, if you've seen the Game of Thrones series, it has such a... But it has that mythical sort of element that Thor has, but there's such an organic reality and a lot of real locations as opposed to green screens and sets. And I think that is certainly something that they want to do with the sequel is make Asgard more livable and tangible.
Yeah. Cool, thanks.
Is Josh writing the sequel?
No. There's been a few different people, and I'm not sure who's doing it at the moment.
Everybody's getting their hands on that script.
Yeah.
After the success of the first one. Yes.
Hi. So playing Thor, being the god of thunder, did you find that there was any challenges in making a god relatable to the audience? Because I remember me and my friends were talking about that could have been a big challenge to the movie, having an audience member feel like they can relate to a god.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering that the character begins with it's kind of the opposite to a normal superhero. The way they're constructed. He doesn't sort of earn his powers through the film or begin as a normal man. He's already a god. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. We have to sort of break him down and build him back up. And Kenneth Branagh, just kept saying to me, let's just make it truthful, make it real. It's you talking to your brother, or it's you talking to your father. Don't try and play a god. The costumes and the sets and everything else around us did that for us. For us, it was about, I think, simplifying it and humanising it, as you say.
Thank you. It was incredible.
Thank you.
All right. You, ma'am?
Hi. It's my birthday. I want to hug.
Happy birthday. It's what?
Can I have a hug, please? It's my birthday.
Sure. Everybody wanted a hug.
Happy birthday.
You're so dreamy!
Yes.
Cabin in the Woods was the best horror movie I've seen in years. If you had to choose one of the dozens of creatures in that movie to actually go up against, who would you choose and why?
It's me or it's Thor? If it was me, I'd try and find the least threatening one in there. Probably the small zombie-like girl. If I was Thor, then I'd try and take on a bunch of them. I don't know, the merman or the unicorn, which you see kind of spearing people through the stomach. Every one of those creatures, I remember reading the script and thinking, how are they going to pull that off? Or, and that moment when the elevator doors, and then every angle, there's every creature you've seen in every different sort of story or horror film. It's just incredible. Buckets of blood and gore and guts. It was an impressive scene.
So that was your first reaction when you read the script, was how is this going to...
Yeah, so how are they going to pull it off?
Yeah.
And what is going on? I don't know, a lot of you, if you understood the ending there, but you have to watch it a few times to really sort of work out what's happened. And my character had died by that point, so I didn't have much care for that, actually. So I was able to go, I don't need to explain that, I wasn't there.
All right. Over here.
Hi. Being that you've played a variety of roles such as Thor, father to Captain Kirk, and so forth, which has been your favorite character, and also what would be your dream role to play?
Tough question. I mean, I'd love them all, and obviously Thor's still going. Star Trek was special because it was really kind of my introduction into, the business, and to be honest, when I shot that, I got cast on Friday afternoon and I started shooting Monday and didn't have much time to understand or, really what I was part of. And then, which is probably a good thing, I would have been pretty intimidated. And then once that came out, just, the following that took off and, the previous fans loved it and then it found a whole new audience. That was really special to be a part of, especially, as I said, because it was the beginning. But every sort of version of Thor and now into the sequel, I look forward to new challenges and making sure that the character keeps evolving in some ways, keeps having conflict, doesn't just become the hero and boring. I love the first one, how he was flawed, he had issues he had to work through, and hopefully there's more of that.
All right. Ma'am?
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to let you know that I'm a really big fan of Thor, and your movie was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I would watch it every day, time of night, every night. And you're
there a
gorgeous,
question
and
here?
I love you. Thank you.
You too, thank you. That's it, that's good, I like that, thank you.
All right, how about you?
Hi. First of all, congratulations on your recent paternity.
Thank you.
Moving forward in your development of Thor as a character, do you think your new role as a father will help you empathize more with Odin?
Yeah, maybe. It shouldn't it? I mean, someone else writes the script and, makes the decisions on how my character reacts, but yeah, sure, I'm sure it'll have some effect. I mean, that's too complicated.
Your personal life always ends up influencing your work a little bit, would you say?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Now I have a child of my own, so I should be able to, understand the parent relationship. But for Thor, he doesn't have a kid, so I guess I can't blame him too much. I have to still be a childless character.
For the time being.
For the time being, yeah. But who knows? I might have a little kid one day, a little demigod child.
Yes?
Hi, Chris. My favorite scene in The Avengers is definitely when you fight the Hulk. I'm just curious what went into filming a scene where you fight a CGI monster.
Yeah. It was tough. A lot of the time was basically me with the harness on, just getting ratcheted into the wall, and now throw yourself on the ground. I was like, I'm not doing too well in this fight. It's becoming rather painful, but then we had the nice big uppercut, which I was thankful we had that. A lot of the time I was having to pretend it was like being a kid in the backyard swinging a stick around. And then, watching it come together, that CGI creature in there was just, it was so impressive. It looked like someone was there fighting. But, it'd be funny to see sort of the outtakes without that. Me sort of shadow boxing the air.
When you first saw the screening of the film, did you realize the enormity it was going to have?
Yeah, I saw it actually was in LA for the premiere, and with a huge big audience, and just you feel everyone's fingers crossed, wanting it to be good and hoping, and then everyone started cheering at the right moments. From the get-go, every character that was introduced was a big sort of uproar, and it was awesome.
That's great.
Yes.
Chris, first of all, thank you. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Thanks for being the voice of comic Thor in my head now, because I can't read it without hearing you.
Sure. Just give me a call and I'll read it for you. You're having trouble sleeping, right?
Going forward, when you start looking at more movie roles, do you see yourself going for more of the action man kind of thing, or more like laid back like Cabin in the Woods?
I'd like to. I've kind of fulfilled that any action desire with Thor and even with Snow White and the Huntsman, so I need to do something else, I think, for my, it just personally, it's been great, but, I did a film recently with Ron Howard, and it was nice to play just a human being, very grounded in reality, and, there were no weapons. It was previously it was, a hammer or an axe. That was a prerequisite for me working It's going to be a spoon next. It'll be a romantic comedy cooking show or something.
How heavy was the actual hammer?
It was pretty heavy, yeah, and we had to be pretty careful with it because it was, you know, with the stunt scenes, you know, when you're fighting people that, you know, you can take someone's head off, so.
That's not good.
And we didn't want to do that.
All right, yes, over here.
Hello. I'm a really big fan of the Avengers. So I know, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. And today when I came here, I heard about the question and answer, and I just wanted to wonder, like, who is your favorite Avenger besides yourself?
I mean, you know, Iron Man kind of started all this, and so Robert Downey, you know, is the godfather, I think, of the Marvel world.
With Robert Downey Jr., was that one of these?
He kicked it all off and led the charge. Yeah, I loved what Mark Ruffalo did with the Hulk, you know, I mean, I think that was my favourite, you know, one of my favourite characters, watching what he did, and just those sequences, you know, Thor and Hulk fighting, especially backhands Thor through the wall. I remember reading that, and on the page, it said, and Hulk smashes Thor in his big Norse face. So cool.
All right, how about you?
Hi. I was just hoping that you could speak to us a little bit about what it was like working with Joss.
So Joss wrote Cabin in the Woods with Drew Goddard, who directed it, and but Joss was, you know, he wasn't directing Cabin, but he was on set all the time and right in there with, you know, input and what have you. But he's just like the work you see, whether it's Cabin in the Woods or Buffy or Avengers, there's just that great sense of humour and lightness to the characters, yet they're, you know, always far more sort of interesting and complicated, and there's a whole lot going on underneath it all. That's what's so good about it. You can have that sort of 1-2 gag and what have you, but you look closer and there's often a pretty strong message under there. So he's highly intelligent, witty and funny, and Avengers it was much different to work with Kenneth Branagh. You know, that was a constant sort of actor-director discussion about character, and Joss is like a fan, you know, he'd be like, cool, that's awesome. Next shot. That was a lot of fun to do.
Awesome, thank you.
Did Joss write in the shawarma scene? Or was that...
Yeah.
How did that come about?
We arrived in LA for the premiere and they said, just quickly, we've got the one thing we want to shoot with all of you tomorrow. And I'd lost like 30 pounds, you know, like, costumes don't even fit me. It's okay, just go and hunch over and we'll pull the wig down a bit. Yeah, pop the suit. But it was a very last minute thing. I haven't actually seen it yet.
It's amazing.
Husky.
Yes.
Hi, Chris. I was wondering, how did working on the Avengers differ from working on Thor? Like, was it easier to play the character as part of a team or as solo act?